everybody. It's so great to be continuing this journey with the book Women Healed in Their Own Words. Remember, if you do not have the book, if you would like to purchase it, it's available at St. Paul VI Institute in Omaha, Nebraska, and you can see the link in the description box below. And I'm so grateful for Teresa and Margaret, who are joining me also today for this episode. Since the last episode we were talking about infertility, we decided to continue and read 2 more stories in this category. So we are reading, in case you have your book and you want to follow, we're reading page 77, A Healthy Baby at Age 45 with the Help of NaProTECHNOLOGY by Karen Ranzelli. The title itself is very interesting.
It is. It really is.
1998. It was a heart-wrenching year for me. My beloved mother died in February after finding out she had cancer in November. In May, my husband, Frank, and I discovered the little boy I was carrying had trisomy 18 Edwards syndrome, a lethal anomaly. He was stillborn on September 18, 1998 at 37 weeks gestation. I was 41 years old and I felt devastated and hopeless. At this age, could I get pregnant again? Could I have a healthy baby? Before my mother died, she told me, "You'll have your family." Those words of hope remained in my mind and heart.
I went to a Marian conference in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on November the 1st. After losing our son, Joel Samuel Ranzelli, and I prayed in my heart and asked God to give me another baby. A man came up to me after communion and said, "The Holy Spirit inspired him to give this card to me." On the card was a picture of Saint Gerard, the patron saint of motherhood. A friend enrolled me in the St. Gerard Society to receive newsletters and articles about women who pray to have children and can't for some reason. Some do conceive. I took this man's gesture as a sign from God. I believed God was telling me that he heard my prayers to keep praying and to have hope. That same month, my cousin Elizabeth conceived a baby at the age of 46. I believed God was showing me it was possible to have a baby. I knew it was possible, though rare, but was it God's will for me?
I wanted to do all I could, according to the Catholic Church, to conceive. I asked a priest if taking fertility drugs was accepted by the Catholic Church, and he said there was no stance against fertility drugs. So I took them, but I didn't become pregnant. My 42nd birthday came. I was so depressed, I cried all day. My husband Frank was very firm with me. He asked me where my faith was. All I could think about was how badly I wanted a baby and how old I was. Then my 43rd birthday came and went. During this time, a new priest came to our parish, Father Tim Grassi. My husband went to daily mass and served for him. We became friends with him and we went out to dinner together. We told him our story and how much we desired a child. He told us about the Fertility Care Center in Charleston, West Virginia. He invited Nancy Botkin from the Fertility Care Center to come to Clarksburg, West Virginia to speak to engaged couples about natural family planning, NaProTECHNOLOGY, and the Creighton model system. He invited me to meet Nancy and to hear what she had to say. I went and I asked a lot of questions about women in my age getting pregnant. I wanted to learn more about all she was presenting. My husband and I went to Charleston, where we met with Nancy, saw slides explaining NaProTECHNOLOGY and the Creighton model, and received materials, books, and charts.
I began reading the books and charting my cycle, and after 3 months of charting, Kelly Saad, a nurse who worked for the Fertility Care Center, sent my chart to Dr. Thomas Hilgers at the St. Paul VI Institute in Omaha, Nebraska. We also sent medical records dealing with my past fertility history and pregnancies. I had a miscarriage before I conceived baby Joel. Dr. Hilgers studied my records and suggested doing a hormone profile. I had my blood drawn every other day for a 2-week period, had it freeze-dried according to specific instructions from Dr. Hilgers, and sent all at once to the St. Paul VI Institute. They got hormone levels from my blood, noting my progesterone level dropped dramatically on a certain day of my cycle. probably causing a fertilized egg to be unable to implant in the lining of my uterus. Dr. Hilter suggested I take Prophecy natural HCG shots 4 times during specific days of my cycle. This would help my body naturally produce the progesterone it needed. I began taking the shots in August after my 44th birthday. At this age, I lost faith. I didn't really believe I would get pregnant. I took the shots for 3 months, telling myself it was to prevent PMS, and after the 4th set of shots, my period was late. I called the nurses at the St. Paul 6 Institute and they told me to go get a blood test to see if I was pregnant. Could it be? I was to call the hospital lab for the results at 7 p.m. The results were positive. I called St. Paul 6 Institute to tell them this wonderful news. Dr. Hilter started me on progesterone shots right away.
My doctor in Morgantown, West Virginia, didn't want me to take progesterone past the 3rd month. But Dr. Hilter suggested I monitor my progesterone levels closely and keep supplementing with progesterone shots until they were no longer needed. I followed Dr. Hilter's advice and remained on progesterone until my 7th month of pregnancy. I turned 45 years old on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2002, and Elizabeth Claire Renzelli was born the following Tuesday, July 30th, at 4:01 p.m. She was named Elizabeth after my mother. Elizabeth means consecrated to God, and Claire means illustrious, bright, and shining. My hope is that she will be radiant because she is consecrated to God. She weighed 7 pounds and 8 ounces, and she was 19 inches long. The doctor said she was very healthy and oh so beautiful.
Elizabeth is a miracle, a wonderful gift from God, who came to us through prayer and help from Father Tim Grassi, Nancy Botkin, Kelly Sad, and from the Fertility Care Center in Charleston. I'm grateful for the wonderful staff of St. Paul VI Institute in Omaha, Nebraska, and Dr. Tom Hilders, who I believe receives wisdom and grace from God to counsel and uplift women in their struggles with infertility. I know Elizabeth would not be here if it weren't for these people. I came to believe my mother was a prophet when she said, "You'll have your family," or she has friends in very high places. She always could be very persuasive, and she loved her babies. 2002, it was a very blessed year, the year of our miracle, Elizabeth Claire Renzelli.
That just gives me such great hope.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful story. I was just thinking as we were reading it, like the role that this priest played.
Yeah.
Like if this priest did not know about the Fertility Care Center there, they probably would have been just hopeless, not thinking anything.
They wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah. And I remember from our own infertility journey when we decided we don't want to do in vitro fertilization, and we remembered the priest had mentioned something in his homily against in vitro fertilization. So we immediately contacted him to talk to us more, because my husband, I was completely against it when I heard how it's done, but my husband didn't say yes or no. He was still kind of taking in all the information.
Sure.
So we called Father Ashman and we asked him to advise us, and he explained to us the whole procedure and why it's wrong and we shouldn't do it, but he knew nothing else. He didn't know about NaProTECHNOLOGY, he didn't know about the St. Paul 6 Institute. So it was my friend who did the research and she found out about the Institute, and that's how I got in touch.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why really spreading the word and having our clergy being educated in this area, it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. This is the second story we're reading with Nancy Botkin as the
Yes.
I know that.
And I thought
know
the
that.
other night we read.
Yes,
We did. We
Yeah.
did. So, yeah, it's the second story. She had quite an impact on people. Amazing.
Yeah. I've only heard of her, never met her.
I never met her. Yeah, you told me she
Oh
died in a car
yeah, I
accident.
dearly loved her. She passed away in a car accident several years ago.
Yeah. Kathy Ribbett was telling me. Yeah. It was before I knew her.
Yeah, it's really amazing, Dr. Hilter's and all what he's doing. Like, her doctor didn't want her to take progesterone. Like, she could have miscarried if she listened to her
Oh
own
yes,
doctor.
absolutely.
Like crazy. They don't trust other doctors, yet they don't do the right things to help their patients.
Yeah, and I do wonder if it's still part of that, the research that still comes down today that I was researching, and it is progesterone are interspersed and used for, what do I want to say?
They use both, and
The same
for
research.
not understanding there's a difference.
So they are hearing the word progesterone, but thinking the molecular structure of progestin and saying, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even realize the difference.
It's a huge
The
difference.
bioidentical wouldn't have all the side effects on
Right.
the woman's body.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the molecular structure. So
Yeah.
they're both synthetic. They're both made, right? But one's bioidentical, like
yeah,
us.
like the one in
And
our
the other
body.
one's synthetic is
Yeah.
not like us. It doesn't process, function, or act like progesterone
Yeah.
That we naturally produce.
that women's body, and men's, but
Yeah.
mostly women, right?
Yeah.
We're
I
talking.
can't get out of my mind the story of that woman who went to her doctor asking for progesterone.
She was wanting to
She
achieve a
wanted-
pregnancy. This was a story from one of the clients of my students who went to her doctor feeling as though, because the practitioner intern thought that there might be low progesterone. So when she went for her regular pap smear, she said to her doctor, we're wanting to achieve a pregnancy. Is there any possibility that I am low in progesterone? He said, well, I can give you a progesterone shot if you'd like. Would you like that? And she said, yes. So he gave her a shot of Depo-Provera.
Oh, that one, yes. That
Yeah.
was a horrible story.
Crazy, really so sad. Well, this was a great story. We're going to continue reading from the book, and as I mentioned, feel free to leave your comments, your questions, even if you have your own testimony to share with us. Just don't forget to put that in the box, in the description box below the video. And thank you so much, Margaret and Teresa, for joining me
My
and
pleasure.
sharing also from your own experience.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marise. Yes.
Thank you all, and don't forget to share these videos with other people to help us spread the word and raise awareness of what Creighton Model and NaProTechnology is doing. The NaProTechnology treats the symptoms. It does not promise 100% children because God is the author of life, but it helps treating the problems and let God take care of the rest. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.
God bless.
God
Bye-bye.
bless.